Hello, this is Salem Witch Trials Daily, and I'm Josh Hutchinson.
Hi, this is Sarah Jack. Today, on Tuesday, May 3rd, 1692, Specters afflicted, guards took prisoners to Boston jail, magistrates questioned Deliverance Hobbs again, and Daniel Wilkins cried out against John Willard, though not as a witch.
According to Elizabeth Hubbard's May 9th testimony against George Burroughs, his specter visited her last night, despite the fact that the real George Burroughs was under guard on his way from Maine to Salem.
Elizabeth said that a little black-haired man appeared to her in blackish clothing. She asked his name, and he told her he was George Burroughs.
Of course, George Burroughs brought the Devil's Book and asked her to touch it. The lines in his book were red as blood. Then he pinched her twice and left.
Then this morning, Reverend Burroughs' specter returned and told Elizabeth that he was above a wizard, for he was a conjurer.
Elsewhere in Salem Village, the guards holding Susannah Martin, Dorcas Hoar, Lydia Dustin, and Sarah Morrell or Maury ate breakfast at Ingersoll's Tavern before escorting the 4 prisoners to Boston Prison. With the addition of these 4 inmates, there were now 28 witchcraft suspects in Massachusetts jails. This was the first and the last time an American witchcraft panic resulted in so many arrests, and we've only covered a small fraction of the accusations to date. So many come throughout the spring and the summer.
Later in the day, John Hathorne and Jonathan Corwin went to the town jail to speak with Deliverance Hobbs, who had been there since April 22nd.
The men accused Deliverance of causing further spectral trouble despite her incarceration. She denied the new charges, but she did acknowledge her previous confession.
One of them asked if Deliverance knew the man with the wen or small lump on his face. We talked about him on a previous day. After the afflicted had identified the specter of an anonymous man in April, authorities had arrested Nehemiah Abbott Jr., but when he was paraded before the afflicted, they didn't know him. He did not have the wen they had seen on the specter, so he was released. This is the only catch and release of the Salem witch trials.
Deliverance said that Bridget Bishop and 3 Sarahs, Sarah Wild, Sarah Good, and Sarah Osborne, had a feast in her jail room. And this was a fancy shindig where they ate both kinds of meat, roast and boiled.
John Willard went and visited his in-laws, the Wilkins, at Wills Hill in Salem Village. He asked his wife's uncle, Henry Wilkins Sr., to join him on a trip to Boston for tomorrow's elections.
Henry agreed, but as soon as Willard left the property, Henry saw that his son, Daniel Wilkins, was anxious about him going with Willard.
Daniel said, "It were well if the said Willard were hanged."
Daniel was 16 years old, but his father reported that this type of behavior was unusual for him.
Daniel went on to become sick in the following days and died of unknown causes on May 16th.
And finally, according to Mary Walcott's June 3rd testimony, Rebecca Nurse's specter appeared to her this evening and told her she'd helped kill Benjamin Holton, John Herod, Rebecca Shepherd, and several unnamed others. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.